Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MSBA Legislative Report for May the 6th. We thank you for joining us. And with us from our Jefferson City office, as always, is MSBA's Associate Executive Director for Advocacy, Mike Reed. And Mike Reed in Jefferson City, we are winding down to the final week of the session, aren't we?
We are down to the last 5 days, and it's going to be, as I said last week, put on your seatbelt because it's going to be a ride. It really is going to be a ride for this last week, yes.
Mike, I guess the major development this past week was the passage of the budget. Tell us about that and how it impacts K-12 education.
Well, we did. We passed the budget. The budget got passed last night, finally passed the House and the Senate mid-afternoon. It had to be passed by today, May the 6th, 1 week before the end of session. Funding is flat for the formula, but that's fine. I mean, in a downtime, that's the best we can hope for. Other agencies had to take large hits. Again, we were very fortunate. We received flat funding. We received an extra $10 million for transportation funding, moving the transportation funding over $100 million. It's still about $45 million less than we had hoped and should be. But at least we have a little more money, and especially in times such as now where gasoline and diesel fuel is very expensive. Are we happy with it? We are happy that we didn't get cut anymore. Do we wish we had more money? Yes. The foundation formula, as envisioned when it went into effect in 2005, expected another $250 million more to be phased in by now. That has not happened. And we're going to have to look at that again next year to see what's best for the students of the state of Missouri. But all things being said, a flat formula, a flat budget right now is a good thing.
And Mike, really the underlying issue there is the shortfall of state revenue, which continues, doesn't it?
The shortfall in state revenue does continue. We had a little bit of good news the past couple of weeks on money coming in, but it is still less than is anticipated. So while the economy may be turning around a little bit, it's a slow process, and revenue is still down.
Another issue that saw some movement this week, Mike, and an issue we're concerned about is a bill that would eliminate at least one election date option for school districts. Tell us about that.
That's right. Senate Bill 282 passed the House and is back now in a conference committee. When it passed the Senate, that bill eliminated both the February and the June election date. We were fortunate to put the February election date back in, and we appreciate all the help of our members because we sent out an alert, and numerous members called their state representatives and asked them to please put this in. So that is back in. We're back now to conference. We're going to try to make sure that we get to hold that February election date. There's a lot of push in the Senate from several senators to eliminate both of the election dates, and so it's going to be very important for our members to call their representative and their senator to say, please keep that February election date. It gives more room for boards to have discussions on when is the best time for an election. And it also makes sure that when we have bond issues, if we only have bond issues on a couple of dates, the cost of the bond issues will go up because the market is small.
An issue we've been talking about really the whole session, Mike, is the expansion of charter schools. And we've been watching several bills in that area move along during the session. One bill in particular was heard this week in the Senate Education Committee. Tell us about the status of that.
Yes, Senate Education Committee heard Representative Tashara Jones's 473, which is an expansion of charter schools, and we talked about it last week. This expands charter schools into unaccredited districts, provisionally accredited districts. Charter schools can be expanded by sponsorship of the local school board or by a sponsor who was approved by a DESE, and charter schools in all the other school districts are only under the local elected school board. This also has a number of accountability standards for charter schools. The bill was heard. It is anticipated that there will be a hearing next week to exec the bill and to see whether or not it comes out. Time is getting short. This is a very important bill, and we'll have to have a lot of discussion. But it is anticipated that the Senate Education Committee will meet the first of the week to discuss and to try to exec this bill out.
Mm-hmm. But Mike, there are some other vehicles for the charter schools expansion. Aren't there some other bills out there?
Yes, Yes, there are. There's Senate Bill 243, which sits in the House right now. There's House or Senate Bill 147 that has that on there. It's anticipated actually that House Bill 738, which is in the Senate, and it is was originally designed to be a bill that says that each school district shall have a plan for each student by the 8th grade, and then track those students for their educational process for at least 4 years after they leave high school. That bill is out there, and it's anticipated that that will also get some movement with the expansion of charter schools on it. That bill is very important to us to look at. We need to keep close track, and we may ask our members to contact their senators concerning that bill because right now it has some provisions that we cannot live with. There's also some provisions in several of these bills to expand virtual charter schools, and that's a situation where, again, several private companies are trying to expand virtual education, and so right now it's just watching each piece of legislation to see who's going to tack something onto it.
Right, Mike. We are at the time of the year here with just a few days left in the session where we do have to keep our eye on a number of bills because one of them might move and might have a lot of amendments on it. Isn't that right?
That is correct. Yesterday afternoon, on Thursday afternoon, the House stayed in until almost 7 o'clock, and a number of the bills that they were working on had all kinds of amendments tacked on to for various situations. We had very few, but now is the time where information comes from all kinds of sources, and bills get very big.
Another issue we've talked about during the session, Mike, is the so-called Turner Fix, and that relates to a Missouri Supreme Court decision allowing students from unaccredited school districts to transfer to other school districts, and the legislation that might accompany that decision to set out some guidelines for those transfers. Where do we stand on all that right now?
Well, we have there are several Turner Fixes out there, as they say. The ones that we support is the one sponsored by Representative Rick Stream from the St. Louis County, from Kirkwood. And Representative Stream's Turner Fix says that districts surrounding unaccredited districts shall have the right to determine how many students they can take, which is good for both the students who in the districts who are receiving and for the students who are coming in from the outside districts. The other Turner Fixes include expansion of virtual schools, some expansion of charter schools, and some voucher programs. And these are unacceptable to the way that we have. Right now, we're kind of, as they say, in a standoff position. The Turner Fix we are pushing is being fought by or being worked on and is not appropriate and is not acceptable to some members of the House and of the Senate. So we're still trying to come together to find some sort of common ground. The bottom line that we all have to look at is what's best for the students. What's best for the students in unaccredited districts, but we also have to make sure what's best for the students in the accredited districts. Overcrowding a district is not good for either party, for the unaccredited students from unaccredited districts, or the students in the accredited districts. So we have to find common ground that we can see what's best for the kids. Do I anticipate a Turner Fix? Today, no, but everything can change in a blink of an eye.
5 days left in the session, Mike. What are you looking for here in the final days of the session?
I'm looking for a lot of things to start popping. I really look for a lot of push on the charter school bill, both 473 and a couple of other bills that do look at the charter expansion. I look for a real push, as I said, on trying to come up with some expansion of virtual education. And I really look for maybe a little bit of a run at some voucher type situation. I think that probably won't happen, but there could be some discussion on it, some tuition tax credit situation. But I really have to tell you, I hope our members watch their emails because as we did last week, we're going to need their help. I think there's still going to be a run at taking away the election dates, and so we lose the February and the June election date. There's one more bill out there that does that, and we're just going to need their help letting the legislators know how their actions affect school districts and the students of the state of Missouri.
All right, Mike Reed, as always, thanks very much for your insight into what's happening in Jefferson City with the legislative session. And we'll be keeping you up to date on the happenings in the legislature during the final days. You can keep up to date by visiting the Capitol Watch blog, which is the daily update on our website. And we'll also be providing you with a wrap-up Legislative Voice newsletter following the end of the legislative session. We won't be having a legislative report next Friday, but the following week we will be recording a legislative report program giving you an overview of the entire legislative session as far as what passed and what did not. Thanks again for joining us on this edition of the MSBA Legislative Report.